I have seen men live more in memory than in the day that lay before them. I have heard them say, "Things were better before. There was a time when I was happy. Back then, I was truly alive." But the past holds no one. It does not call. It does not demand. It is the man who lingers behind with his gaze. Nostalgia is not born from love for what was. It is born from the silent refusal of what is. When the present grows heavy, the mind retreats into a time that offers no resistance, a time that asks for no choices, exposes no risk, and can no longer disappoint. And so memory becomes a refuge. But every refuge, when inhabited for too long, ceases to protect and begins to confine. I too have observed this mistake. Men who after a victory lived only from its echo. Others who after a loss ceased to inhabit the day. And I understood something essential. You do not suffer because the past is over. You suffer because you continue to use it as the measure of your life. But nature does not measure this way. Nothing remains identical to itself. Everything is born, changes, and passes. Only man demands that a moment become a permanent dwelling. Tell me, when you look back with nostalgia, are you truly honoring what was, or are you avoiding what is being asked of you now? For remembering is natural. Remaining is a choice. The past may instruct, it may be respected, but it cannot govern the present. When you turn it into a refuge, you abandon the day before you. And to abandon the present is to abandon the only place where virtue can act. The problem is not memory, it is attachment. And attachment does not lie in time, but in judgment. For this reason, now listen to Epictetus. Because if I have seen nostalgia as an error of vision, he will show you where it truly begins. In the judgment you continue to give to what has been, and in the power you still allow it to hold over who you are today.
Listen, you say, the past weighs on me. Memories hold me back. I can't move forward. But I tell you this, it is not the past that imprisons you. It is you who keep granting it power. What has been has no force. It does not speak. It does not act. It does not return. There is only one thing commanding you, the judgment you give today to what no longer exists. When you say, back then I was better, back then I was loved, back then my life had meaning, you make this mistake. You turn a memory into a standard, and then you condemn yourself to never reaching it again. I was a slave, and if I had measured my life by what I had lost, I would have had no escape. But I learned one thing early. What does not depend on me has no right to rule me. The past does not depend on you, therefore it does not belong to you. And yet you defend it, you feed it, you consult it every day, as if it were meant to tell you who you are. This is not memory. It is assent given without examination. Each time a memory arises, you have a choice. You can say, it happened, or you can say, it must continue to define me. The first is a fact, the second is a chain. Nostalgia is not unavoidable suffering. It is a habit of judgment, and every habit can be broken. Ask yourself, when the past pulls at you, does this thought help me live well now? If not, reject it. Do not fight it. Do not analyze it. Reject it. Because the free man is not the one who had a good past, but the one who does not use it as an excuse to withdraw from the present. Marcus showed you the deception of time. I have shown you the error of judgment. One thing remains, how to live in the present without becoming hard, without losing what you once loved, without closing the heart. For this, now listen to Seneca, because he knows how to remember without remaining a prisoner, and how to move forward without becoming cold.
My friend, you have listened to Marcus. You have listened to Epictetus. One showed you how the past becomes a refuge. The other showed you why that refuge turns into a chain. Now let me tell you what I have learned by living and losing many times. Nostalgia is not always weakness. Sometimes it is affection that has not yet found its place. It is the sign that something was real, that a time, a person, a season touched you deeply. And this should not be denied. The mistake is not remembering. The mistake is turning what has been into the only place where you feel alive. I have loved friends I have lost. I have lived days that will not return. And if I had cut away those memories, I would have cut away a part of myself. But I learned this: what has been should be honored, not inhabited. Memory is like a visit. It arrives, it speaks, it teaches, and then it must leave. If you hold it back, if you prepare a permanent dwelling for it, it no longer consoles you, it consumes you. That is why I will not tell you, forget. That would be cruelty. Instead, I tell you this: learn to remember with measure. Ask yourself, when the past returns, does this make me more just today? Does it make me more human now? Does it help me live this day better? If yes, thank it. If not, let it pass as you would a weary guest. Remember, my friend, life does not ask you to deny what has been, but not to sacrifice what is on the altar of what no longer is. The present is the only time in which you can still be virtuous, the only one in which you can love, choose, grow. Marcus spoke to you of time, Epictetus of judgment. I leave you with this final thought: do not live as if the best were behind you. Live as if meaning were always ahead of you, as long as you breathe. Then the past will not be a prison, but a root. And a healthy root does not hold back your step, it supports it.